Hello everyone, I just wanted to make a quick recording to accommodate the folks that could not make it to Wednesday night's meeting. Tell you a little bit more about the AFAR program, tell you about some of the exciting things that we're doing, some of the things we have done, what we are currently doing, and how you may be able to get involved. So I'm gonna try to be very brief and concise with the slides, but my goal is to give you a feel for what the program's all about, to help you understand a little bit better if it's a good fit for you or your student, and if you feel that that is a good fit and something you'd like to pursue, the steps that you need to take to make that happen. I'm going to start off by showing a quick video, and this video is nothing spectacular. Don't judge my editing skills, but essentially I took some photos from the 4 sessions that we did in the summer of 2023. And the reason I start with this is I think it really captures the experience pretty well. I will be talking about the fact that it is first and foremost an archaeology project, and it should be nothing short of that. But we also fill a massive amount of our time with exciting, both exciting academic and cultural immersion, and I think this video will help you get a good feel for that. Now, if you don't want to watch this and you want to get straight to things, I think you can probably skip ahead in this video maybe around 6 minutes. But you can use the slider and skip ahead. So that will be up to you, but I am going to move forward with that first.
Winding ocean drive, and glass. He looks through his window inside. He sees the things he knows are his. He sees the bright and hollow sky. He sees the city sleep at night. He sees the stars are out tonight. And all of it is yours and mine. And all of it is yours and mine. So let's ride and ride and ride and ride. Oh, singing la 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 la
So whether or not you sat through that 6 minutes and 45 seconds or just scrolled ahead, at this point, I'm just going to sort of break down quickly the nature of our programs and the things you can expect. If you did watch the videos, you can sort of get a feel of the programs. And I think one of the impressions that I think most people take away from that is you see some smiling faces, and I think it's something that students have definitely looked forward to for now 17 years, and it's something that we certainly look forward to as archaeologists, but it's become a special thing for our students, and certainly a special thing at Davidson Day. So just to nuts and bolts, the program, each of our programs, we do offer 3 different archaeological research program options for our students, and each one is 2 weeks long. And essentially, each of the projects, they truly are projects. People say, oh, well, the Belize trip or the Spain trip or the Portugal trip. And yeah, there is a trip to get there, but they truly are archaeological field projects, and they really shouldn't be sold as anything other than that. It used to frustrate me when students would say, oh, I did this trip. And I'm like, guys, you're selling yourself a little bit short. You're truly doing an archaeological field school, and it's a research project. However you want to label it or name it, it truly is a research project. Typically in the course of 2 weeks, the students are on site working probably on average 9 days of 2 weeks, at least a portion of the day. And we have real research goals. The students actually do the work on site, but also everything is contributed to an end result, which is an actual research report. So we publish everything we do in each of those projects, which is pretty exciting. It's pretty special. Now, it's not all work, and although the work and research is at the core, we also, we do tons of excursions and weekend activities and evening activities, and I'll show you some of those examples here later. So it's a massive amount of work. It's sort of funny. I don't think many kids really sign up specifically for the work, but oftentimes those are some of the most enjoyable and fun experiences and enriching experiences that they have, and they reflect on those quite positively. So what are the benefits of being involved in the project? As I said before, it truly is genuine science and discovery. As an educator and as a student for way too many years, too often we have these things that are, we say, oh, it's experimental, it's great. This is sort of it's like science, or it's like doing a real project, but this really is. It's really without a net research, and the net that we do have is we pair these kids with top professionals and scholars from across the globe. It's travel with a purpose. I think I always argue that traveling in general is always something that is valuable and educational and should be taken advantage of. But when you have something, whether it be a mission trip or like a research project like this, it gives you more connection and feel to where you are. And it's very different, and you can't really compare that experience with one where you jump on a bus, you go to 15 cities, and you eat at a couple restaurants, see a site or two, and then get on and go to the next one. They really are immersed here. Cultural interaction is also the other thing that I really am proud of, and I think the kids love so much. Is each one of our projects, they're interacting on a regular basis and consistent basis with a lot of folks from that host country. Whether that be them working side by side with them on the archaeology site, or folks that are working with us in the evenings and hosts of hotels, or partners that we use. They have they build friendships and connections, and I think that's amazing. It's definitely a program of distinction in the world of archaeology. Our program is pretty well known. We are essentially the only folks doing what we do. And, I'm proud to say we do it really well. And we've gotten a lot of great notoriety for that. And that's been great for both us as a program, and our students have gotten a lot out of it. And one of the most important things I really think are, we build core memories, the connections we make, the things we do. It's a time of the student's life that I almost think it's an ideal time to do something like this, because, getting out and seeing the world is such a valuable thing. I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. I barely saw Ohio and West Virginia before I was 16. And, it was just such an enlightening experience whenever I ventured out from my comfort zone and my surroundings. And it truly built those core memories for me. And I know, based upon the connection we still have with our alumni, that these are core memories that they build from, and valuable experiences. So, as I mentioned before, and you can probably see in the video, we have 3 projects. The video had much more on Portugal because we worked there 2 sessions. So I was working there an entire month. And then we also had, in 2023, we had 2 weeks in Spain and 2 weeks at the site in Belize. I'll tell you a little bit more about the sites here in a second. But just understand, these projects are ongoing, and we're really proud that we've been able to offer them all these years. Some extra special things about AFAR projects is, and I sort of mentioned this, is they are working with highly regarded experts. They we work with government officials and professors from really top level universities. I'm an okay archaeologist, but I'm really good at education and outreach in archaeology. But the folks that we partner with are also good at those things, but they're content experts. We are truly working with the best in the business, and we're lucky to be able to do that. In addition to that, I always say this is a gateway to other opportunities, and it's something I really work hard to do, is create additional opportunities for these kids. So, one of the things in science is we always like to, I like to teach the proper way that science works. And the proper way is that you educate yourself before you start an actual research project, but you also, once you, get that data and you see what comes from that research, it's sort of important, and it's our responsibility to share that with the academic community and the general population. So one of the things that we do is we create opportunities in that many of our students who will work in the summer, they will actually, formulate their research, and they'll actually go and present at professional conferences. So in about 3 weeks, we're actually headed to the University of Kentucky, where they host an annual archaeology conference. I have 6 students that will present at that conference. And then in November, we have 16 students who will be presenting at the they'll be presenting at a conference in Calgary, and that will be a really great experience for them. One of the things I don't like to dwell on, because I want students to do it for the right reasons, but when you're the only folks in the world, that do something special, we're always trying to set ourselves apart, especially in the college admissions world. And when you're the only person or the only group that does something, it's crazy. And we really are the only archaeological field schools in the world that are specifically for pre-collegiate students. So a little scorecard here, AFAR at DDS. We have 3 ongoing projects. The rest of the world, a big fat goose egg. So we're really proud of that. Our kids have gotten tons and tons of mileage off of this in their college applications. But again, that's not necessarily, I put that as an extra special, not as sort of the core piece. I use these all the time. And again, I always have to lead with the fact that this is no disrespect or hatred toward any of these other students, but I'm going to show profiles of 3 students with some international experience. And again, every one of these students, it's a great opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with the opportunity. I just truly want to showcase how special some of the things that our students are doing truly is. So anyway, student 1, let's just say student 1 visits 5 European countries with a student tour group over the course of 2 weeks. Pretty awesome. Takes 4 years of French. Probably gonna do pretty well in a conversation. Visits amazing sites like the Prado, Sistine Chapel, and the Parthenon. Truly an amazing experience, and one that everyone should take advantage of. There's nothing wrong with that. And students across the world are constantly doing that, and that's great. Student 2 studies at a high school in Mexico for an entire semester, takes all of his coursework in Spanish, proving his mastery, and lives with a Mexican family, acquiring priceless knowledge on Mexican culture. While in Mexico, he visits sites such as Chichen Itza, Tulum, and the National Museum. Really phenomenal opportunity. Study abroad programs are terrific, and they offer different things than what we do. So again, it can't be discounted, and it should only be promoted. I think these are great opportunities, and I would fully encourage anybody to look into these. However, I do want to showcase some of the things our kids do. And this is an example. This is an actual example. This is Madeline Belitz, and I love her to death. She worked with us in Spain. This is not her profile, but I just needed to change the photo because the kid that was in the photo is now 27. But it was truly his rap sheet here, but and this is 100% true. Carried out research in Belize for 4 consecutive summers and presents findings at international conference. Write the history of the Maya people that student 2 will learn it in Spanish while in Mexico. Work alongside Belizean students and world-renowned archaeologists from top universities like Tulane and Harvard, and provide museums across the globe with cool stuff for students 1 and 2 to look at. It's really true. The students 1 and 2 are, they are absorbing and getting great information. Student 3 is creating that information. We're truly writing the story of these cultures that we participate in. We're truly creating things for museums we're filling museums with artifacts to find or look at. It is true. In 2011, 2012, there's been one of the most important Maya tombs was found by our team. And that museum exhibit is still touring around North America. And it's been in major museums across the U.S. and Canada. So this isn't just talk. This is actual stuff that our kids are doing. I'm very proud of. We aren't the only beneficiaries. This is important to note. In addition to what our kids get, we're promoting science, and we're building that archaeological record of these sites. And some of the sites that we work at, we're truly responsible for the majority of what is out there on it. We're also promoting professional archaeologists, even though we work with some of the best. Archaeologists are looking for opportunities and funding to be able to do these things. So we're able to attract really great archaeologists, but it's great for them professionally. Also, we can talk about economies. We really try our best to keep costs low, but at the same time, we can keep costs low and still fuel the economies of our host countries. So the local economy, there's a direct impact on that, just from hotels, from meals and logistics, such as transportation. That's an immediate impact, and a lot of the folks that we work with, our partners, they're really dependent on it. In addition to that, we have long-term economic benefits. And I use the example of the site in Belize. I've been working at the site of Cajalpech in Belize that are, I've worked there since 2000. And when I started working there in 2000, we may have had 1 or 2 families, or at the most, maybe 10 people would come through and visit that site. Because it wasn't really excavated that much. There were a lot of dirt mounds you could see, but you couldn't see the exposed temples and structures. Well, this summer, as of the summer of 2023, it's the 3rd most visited site in the country. And the reason is AFAR has done so much work there, and we conserve so many of those structures that people do want to see it. There's something more to see than just dirt mounds. So that brings lots of business and economic growth to that area. So the long-term effects are really great. So let's go to the question of, is this a great choice for you? I think everybody really should be quite honest with themselves and not get to the point where they say, oh, I really want it. There's this part of the project I really want. There's this part. Really, this should be thought through. And a couple of questions. Some of these are funny. Some of them are silly, but there's some truth in it. The first one is, I just want to relax over summer break. This is not something that anybody should be ashamed of, because, to be quite honest with you, our students work, the majority of our students work really hard through the year, and that's something they look forward to. So having a summer break is not, I don't think it's unreasonable. If you do just want to relax and not work over the 2 weeks, it's just not the right fit for you. First and foremost, we take the projects very serious, and we expect the students to be contributing. Now, there's a spectrum of those contributions, but it doesn't have to be, the basic expectation that they're invested and participating is really necessary. The second one is we can work with. If students are away and nervous about being away from home, this is very reasonable and realistic. We have students who have never traveled outside of the country before, and we have students who haven't been away from family members for more than a few days. Now, I will tell you, just historically, I've had well over 360 students, individual students. Oftentimes, that doesn't count repeat students, and we do have about an 84% or 85% return rate. But over 360 individual students, I've had two go home early. And one was, I truly believe, was being homesick. But they said they were having some back issues as well. So, if it's something that you feel that you may have an issue with, I think it's worth chatting with me about it, or chatting with students who've done the project before. But definitely not a hurdle that can't be overcome. Very important. We're quite strict about this, but students who really have, who have interest in, partying and taking, we totally expect 2 weeks without any sort of partying, no drinking, no alcohol, drugs, tobacco, nothing like that. So it's very important. We have a very rare opportunity, and we want to preserve that. And reckless behavior, especially with that's induced by any sort of drugs or substance, that's going to jeopardize both the safety of our students, but also the possibility of this project running. So it is a non-negotiable, no matter what the student's age, legal drinking age. I mean, I've had 18-year-old students in Belize who are just like, no, but I'm 18. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a non-negotiable. This one's one that you really just sort of have to have a talk with yourself. I always say this is probably not the best motivator to try. Oftentimes it ends up that they love it, but really making decisions based on what others do is not necessarily the best idea in general. I do understand it. I understand that there's comfort in having your friends with you, but if that's the only reason that you want to go, it's probably not the thing to do. You really want, in my opinion, I think you should really want to do it. And obviously, making decisions and choices based upon what your friends do, I think it's totally reasonable and understandable. But at the same time, if it's the only reason that you're thinking of participating, might not be the best. I get this a lot. People will say, well, I'm not really interested. I don't want to be an archaeologist. Or I'm not even interested in archaeology. And believe it or not, that's really okay. I don't have many of my students go through and become career archaeologists. In fact, only a few have done that. And they have a gigantic leg up if they opt to do that. But that's not really our goal. What we do is we introduce science in the sort of the system of science, and we use the vehicle of archaeology. And archaeology is a great one because it's so holistic. It has so much to do with our past and our present and just being human. So everyone has a little buy-in with this, regardless of what they think. As I said, we're not trying to build career archaeologists, but at the same time, it's something that our students tend to build an appreciation for science and also an appreciation for the past. It also builds a great deal of confidence because from the beginning to the end of 2 weeks, when they reflect on what they've been able to do and accomplish, it's just amazing, and it's a real confidence builder for them. I only eat chicken nuggies. Well, it might be frustrating and a little bit of a pain, but we deal with it all the time. Students that have really finicky diets, or of course special diets, we deal with all of those. And the critical thing is students have to eat, and if you don't eat, you can't be healthy, you can't be safe. So that is critical, but we can accommodate almost any diet. So that certainly shouldn't be a deterrent, but at the same time, transparent communication needs to be done in advance so we can make those preparations for students that have dietary needs, special diet, or allergies, or just very particular. Last one, if you're allergic to dirt, I would probably say move on to something else. All right, so again, just to recap, the things that are important. Is it right for you? You need to have a certain degree of physical condition. This is important, but again, this isn't, you don't need to be breaking records on push-up and set-up competitions. It's just a matter of, you need to be able to, physically get up, get to the site, work, be in the heat, be in the sun, not be completely wiped out by midday. There's a wide range of tasks and jobs, and some folks will gravitate to the ones that take a lot of physical work, and some will gravitate to ones that are more in the lines of measurements and note taking, things like that. But general physical health is important. Mental preparedness, it sort of goes with, it's sort of a blanket for a lot of these other things. You just need to be mentally prepared to work with a team. You need to have that, discussion with yourself and your family to say, am I truly going to be too homesick to do this? And sort of to say, these are the things that I'm going to face. I'm going to face having to work as a team. I'm going to have to face having a roommate for 2 weeks. I'm going to have to face being away from home. The ways of life and the schedules, they may be unfamiliar with me. But those are the things that you sort of need to at least have some comfort and confidence that you'll succeed. Always, we have the motto to work hard and play hard. And we really stand by that. And I think anybody that has gone through the programs will tell you we do. And working hard is a great feeling. And I think our kids feel that, because at the end of the day, when you've really busted your tail and you can reflect on how much work that you contributed, it makes the motivation to play that much, that and play knowing that you did well, it makes it that much more rewarding. So we definitely have that, but there is an expectation. We want everybody to contribute and bring something to the table. So as it is a research team, that is always an expectation. So all of those things should be considered before you making the decisions. All right, so nuts and bolts of each project. So here are the dates. You can screenshot this if you want to. As of right now, as of the recording, we have, I think, about 26 applications so far. Each of the projects, our target number is around 16. Some can handle a little bit more. Some going past 16 is a little problematic. The proposed dates at this point are May 25th through June 9th for Spain, and that's a plane departure on May 25th, which is a Saturday, and they would arrive on May 26th because of the overnight flight. And then Portugal, as of right now, for sure, we have June 8th through June 23rd. And again, that's going to be departure on June 8th, arrival on June 9th, and then the return on June 23rd. If the demand is high enough, we will open up a second session for Portugal. That is to be determined. So if you're thinking about applying for Portugal, that window of time it could be either one. It's definitely going to be the first, but our rising seniors, they're probably going to have the first opportunity for those dates. And I can tell you right now, I have 19. I think I have 17 students that have already signed up for Portugal, and the majority of those are rising seniors. So if you are not a rising senior and you're really hoping for Portugal, you would probably want to go ahead and start thinking about June 22nd through July 7th if we do open up that second session. The last project is going to be Belize, and that's going to wrap up our summer. That's going to run from July 13th through July 27th. Now, that's not an overnight flight, so that's flying in on a Saturday, July 13th, and flying home on a Saturday, July 27th. We choose the Saturday to Saturday instead of the Saturday to Sunday because there's a direct flight on Saturdays to Belize from Charlotte. All right, so our projects, again, we have the 3 projects. The first one of the summer will be in Spain. This project's the one project that is open up to our rising 8th and 9th grade students. So if you see here, it's not too far from Madrid. It is really a beautiful part of the country, and the site itself is a medieval castle with occupation from just past the Visigothic period, the Moorish period through the Christian kings, and the occupation actually the castle was actually occupied until the 16th century. So really amazing site, magical. I don't use that term loosely. It is truly one of the most magical places I've ever been, and it's so beautiful. And every sunset, every sunrise, it's just breathtaking. The village itself, I mean, we stay right in the shadow of the castle, and the village itself is almost abandoned. There's probably 30 plus full-time residents, and they're almost entirely 80 years old and above. And these are just folks that still live there. So it's a very secure, very safe place for our students to live for those 2 weeks. The accommodations, because this is always something that that we as parents are interested in, is we do stay at a hotel called the Posada de Zorita de los Canes. You can look that up. It's super convenient, as it's literally right in the shadow of the castle. We walk to and from the castle every day. We can walk down for bathroom breaks. We do rent the entire hotel, so it's only us, which is just that even more security, even though there's virtually no traffic in the village. The students do have shared rooms. They would share rooms anywhere from 2 to 3 per bedroom. The accommodations are super nice. They're not lavish by any means, but they're very comfortable. They're very clean. They're very nice. Though, let me take that back. They're clean when our kids check in, and within a couple days they get really gross. But that's the doing of our kids. So, and on the Spain project, we supplement tons and tons of awesome activities. We go to the neighboring city of Pastrana, and they're famous for these great tapestries, but we go into the town and do some other things, go have dinner at one of the local restaurants. There's a cathedral there that we visit. There's a Roman city of Segovia, which is really beautiful and full Roman city with an amphitheater and a little Colosseum. We also go to this mine that's actually near the site of Segovia, and we go to this crystal mine. I can explain more details, but I'm going to try to be quick. It's really an amazing thing. We also do a day trip to the city of Toledo. Really fun activity for the kids. They essentially spend the full day, and we do a few highlights of the city, and we let them shop around and eat at restaurants, all the great Toledo restaurants such as Burger King and McDonald's. That's what they tend to gravitate to, but there are lots of great ones as well. We also have a day where it's not mandatory, but it's become a tradition that we go play paintball nearby, and it's a ton of fun. Students who don't play paintball can do a high ropes course near this beautiful canyon. That's not too far away. We also do, in that same day, we do canyoning, and it's this thing that they give you these wetsuits and a helmet, and you jump off rocks and slide down these natural waterfalls, and you float down the river for close to 2 hours, and it's such an amazing and beautiful experience. This year is sort of a special year for us. We're celebrating 10 years on the Zorita project. So we have been blessed with the opportunity to host a little bit of a celebration on the second, second week. We'll be having some special music, and you probably don't recognize these folks, but these are some artists that will be participating. Of course, you recognize Nola Maria. We plan to have them there performing one evening, and then the solo artist, singer-songwriter Michael Now, and also the band Floating Action, which is actually based out of Black Mountain, if anyone's heard of those. So that will be fun. That will be the second week. I'll talk a little bit more. There are some opportunities. We will be offering some special Parent Week options for that second week for interested folks. So the second project is the site of Troia. It's a Roman site on the coast. You can see here it's on the coast of Portugal, a little bit south. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive south from Lisbon. This site it's a pretty significant site, but I always compare it. It's sort of like the Pittsburgh of salted fish and fish sauces, which were very popular to the Romans. And so it's sort of like the Pittsburgh's famous for steel, and they shipped all over the nation. Troia was famous for these sauces and the salted fish, and they were the number one producer and exporter of these products in the Roman Empire. So this is a vast, massive site. It's right on the coast. It's right on this peninsula. So it's a beautiful place to work every day, and there's so many significant things to be found. And we found many things, but there's so much more for us to uncover. So this is a very exciting project. The accommodations are not too shabby. I'll be honest with you. Like the problem with the reason Portugal is so expensive is actually the accommodations. Unfortunately, because it's such a beautiful location, it's become one of the most desirable vacation locations in all of Europe. And it essentially in the summer is one of Europe's playgrounds, and it's heavily visited. So prices are brutal. So if you can imagine, having an archaeology project in Aspen, Colorado during prime ski season, that's sort of what we deal with. So we essentially rent two gigantic houses, and they're very convenient. They're located conveniently to the site. They're probably about a 7 to 8 minute drive to the site every day, but also very convenient because it's about a 5-minute walk to the beach. The amenities are amazing because you can't really get crummy accommodations in this area. Fortunately for the kids, because I would be getting them, but they just don't exist. So they all have amazing amenities: pool tables, foosball tables, pools, and the same sort of thing. They are residences, so the students are usually broken up into 2 to sometimes 3 students per room. The excursions here, there's a number. This is a famous fishing village that we go visit, and they're famous for their seafood restaurants. It's not weird. Madonna actually has a house right down the beach from where we stay, and many footballers from Europe have homes here. And it's not crazy. They're A-listers that you run into these little tiny fish restaurants all the time. I personally haven't met them, but they talk about it all the time. We also go to the site of Sintra. It's a beautiful site. It's one of the iconic images of Portugal in general, that are famous for all of their giant palaces. We spend a wonderful day there. We also added Nazaré. If anyone's seen 100-Foot Wave, you may recognize this guy, Andrew Cotton. He is a big wave surfer, and he's one of the feature surfers for the show. And I reached out to him randomly, and he was so kind and gracious, and he met with our kids, and we spent the day surfing, and it was just amazing. And the town of Nazaré was amazing. We had VIP treatment by Cotty and some of the other folks who were responsible for getting those big wave competitions started there. So it was a really fun and exciting activity for both sessions of kids. We also, this is sort of a little bit of a joke that I put in for the students. The Museum of Rice, it is a museum dedicated to the production of rice. Although it was really interesting, the kids, we made light of it. You can see them celebrating there in that photo, because I told them, I said, guys, you have to act like this is Disney World. So they always got really excited about it. Also, Alcácer de Sal is another nearby city that we spend a day, and sometimes we go for a second day. It's really neat. We visit some of the museums and some of the excavations there. Of course, we eat there as well. This is a coastal town of Sesimbra. They're famous for sort of the caves, the coastal caves, and we take kayaks out one day, and you can kayak in and out of those caves. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Just so picturesque. We also spend a night. One evening we do a sunset cruise around the peninsula, and that's always a really fun event. We also visited this year these really neat caves. I wasn't really sold on it before we went, but it's a demonstration. They sort of open up these shafts, and they do a really cool tour in there, and the kids actually enjoyed it. That's another photo of Nazaré, and one of the famous guys who started that, and I think that's Colin Hallman. He was better than all of us surfing, but that's a pick. All right, the third project and the last project, it was the first project. This is really our flagship, was the Belize project. And this will give you an idea of where it is. The site of Belize, the site in Belize, I should say, is Cajolpech. And Cajolpech is a medium-sized Maya site. Even though it has these massive temples, like you see here in the background, it's medium size, and it has a ton to offer. So there were definitely elite Maya and sort of probably middle class Maya living in this city. We have done excavations with students since 2006 here, and we've just done so many things here. The longevity of this project is incredible, and we're responsible for so much of what's been done here, and there's still so much to do. So this will be exciting, as it will be our 17th year at Cajolpech. The accommodations themselves, we stay at the Cajolpech Village, conveniently located. It's a very short walk from the site. And it's a beautiful, safe, and secure resort. It's a pretty big resort, so there are other guests, unlike the other two options. But at the same time, we actually have extra security that is always monitoring. I mean, the kids they're on site most of the early part of the day, and then we do activities. So in the evenings, we always have, there's always security there. So they have great amenities. They have 2 nice sized pools that the kids just take advantage of all the time. The rooms are nice. They're well equipped. Again, they're not necessarily lavish, but at the same time, they're clean, they're comfortable. And the folks that run the resort are they're essentially family. I've worked with them for over 20 years, and they treat us like family. So it's a really warm and inviting place. And the students always fall in love with the folks at Cajolpech Village. The rooms are a little different. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's up to 4. They do have varying types of accommodation. So it really depends on our numbers, how we configure those rooms. So the excursions for Belize, we do cave tubing. It's a really beautiful, amazing system of caves that we not only float through them on these great inner tubes, it's really a relaxing part. We also climb up and see some of the cultural remains that only the archaeologists really know about, but we get a very special tour for the kids. We go to an iguana rehabilitation center, and the kids get to play with green spiny iguanas. I think that's what they are. Which unfortunately, I mean, I don't know. I haven't tasted them. They may be delicious, but they are sort of a delicacy, so they're eaten a lot. So this little farm and rehab center is great at helping promote populations, and it's really nice for the kids. Kids really get a kick out of it. This year we also went to a place that produces cacao. If you didn't know, the Maya essentially are to thank for chocolate. So they were the first to process cacao and turn it into a chocolate. Not necessarily what we're used to today, but still processed and sweetened that. And later it became what we know. But the kids actually were able to take the cacao seeds, grind their own, and make their own concoctions, which was pretty fun. This was we visited a few sites while we were there. This was I think a shot from the site of Caracol, which is the largest site in the country. It's a beautiful scenes. I mean, the tallest structure there is still the tallest structure in the whole country of Belize. So we do some excursions to see other sites, not just ours. These are the Rio On pools. We spend an afternoon enjoying these. These are beautiful tidal pools and waterfalls that the kids can swim in and slide down, and really relaxing, lots of fun. We also we have really close connections with some of the families in Belize, and there's probably more cultural interaction here than any of the projects. And this is a photo taken from a night that a family brought us out and cooked meals for us with traditional methods of cooking, and they did a big demonstration with fresh fruit that was found on this farm, etc. So really fun and really exciting. And then we have this was a day, we spent a full day out on this jungle cruise essentially, and it's we go out into the jungle. And there's a place that has this big pontoon with that's massive, and it just goes in and out of the jungle. And we have a big traditional barbecue meal, and it's really, really delicious and a lot of fun. The kids there's rope swing. That's a highlight day. One thing that should be stated that I'm just throwing out. This isn't necessarily something that is firm, but we've been approached many times about shooting a documentary on AFAR, but there has been interest, and we've been approached, and there is a possibility that there would be a feature-length film on AFAR filmed next summer. So I honestly can't tell you. I just don't want anybody to be surprised to say, or if there would be an issue with the student being filmed. I have spoken to the filmmakers and said, if students don't want to be on the film, is this avoidable? And they said 100% we can make sure that doesn't happen. But I don't want anybody to be surprised and be like, oh my gosh, they're maybe doing it. At this point, we just don't know. There are a lot of things in play, but I just didn't want anyone to be surprised, so it was worth mentioning. I mentioned this a second ago, but we are going to do parent weeks. We have done these in the past with all projects except Portugal. And essentially, we are very protective of the students' experience. So we're hesitant at some points, but we've had some great success. We actually designed a week-long itinerary for parents that essentially has them stay close, not in our same city or town, but nearby. So they're not necessarily in the student's hair, but they actually spend one full day sort of experiencing what the students experience. And then we have, like the first night they get there, they join us for dinner and we get to socialize. and then typically the last night of the project, we have them come back for a special farewell dinner. So there is interaction, and there's parents and students find a little security in having parents close by, even if they're not in their hair. The last thing we want to do is have parents looming over the shoulder of the students when they're having their experience. So we are very, very protective of that. The only, the itinerary that we put together, they're always very special and unique and exclusive type activities. We tend to avoid very touristy things, but very special activities that we have access to. So unique and very special, but and a couple of things that everybody does, but at the same time, we try to make them extra special. So that is going to happen on each session, and that would be the second week of the session. And I will get details for those who are interested, but my priority was getting the students taken care of first, and then I will immediately deal with that. The one I will tell you this: the one rule that we do ask is, anytime the parents are interacting, we have a policy that we ask that parents do not have any alcohol around them. The other times there's no problem whatsoever, but with the kids, we just want that to not be a part of that experience. All right, so let's talk about costs. I mean, costs definitely give me grief, and they keep me up at night. I'm the tightest person in the world. Maybe not the tightest person in the world. My wife might be the tightest person, but I'm pretty close. But what I did was, at the end, I'll just give you a little bit of feedback. The 2023 season was financially a nightmare, and really it boiled down to inflation and increase specifically in travel. Flights alone crushed us, and it was hard for families, and the families, of course, I don't know if that was difficult or not difficult, but for us as a program, we have four projects, and just say estimate 4 chaperones per project flying over and back. We were spending a lot of money, and the flight prices were astronomical compared to the 2022 field seasons, which we based our budgets on. So the prices were rough. So I essentially put and we haven't, I do want to also draw attention, we really hadn't changed any pricing since 2017. We had kept the same price on all of our projects from 2017 to 2023. Belize went up, I want to say $150 maybe last year, but that's it. It's virtually been the exact same for all of the projects, and we've always tried to hug that and maintain that. It's just not a reality for what we offer our kids, short of cheapening or changing the experience. So what I did is, just to show people, the blue number is the actual cost. Well, sort of actual cost, and I'll tell you what I mean by sort of actual cost. If you look at 2017 to 2023, you're going to have two numbers that add up to a third number in bold. The first number was the fee that AFAR charged. So let's just use Portugal, for example. It was $3,950. That was the project fee. And then families had to purchase their own flights. Well, the flights that we got last year were on average $1,930. Okay? Something we really didn't have control over. But that created a grand total of $5,880. So one of the things that we had to do, or one of the things that we sort of talked through, we spoke to the travel agent that we had been working with the flights, and he said, you know what, if you do this early, if you get a group flight early, your rates are going to be considerably lower. So what we did, we essentially figured out what we needed to increase based on those prices of 2023, okay, to make that work. And you'll see there's a big difference between the increase in Spain and Belize versus Portugal. The main reason for that increase are the accommodations. And the accommodations, when we set that budget originally, the resort that owns the property where the site is, they were giving us amazing pricing on housing. How we did it last year, I don't know, but we felt it. Let's just put it that way. So that increase is a little bit more than the others. But I want to also tell you, so the blue numbers, of course, are the real price. But, and I went ahead and put that's the increase. So if you're a returning family, Belize or AFAR family, you can see the price increase. Here's the thing I do want to point out though. So the 7,500 in blue, that is based on that 1930 price for airfare. So theoretically, let's just say we get that airfare for $1,430. All right, so we get it $500 cheaper than last year, which is possible. I've done searches recently, and I'm seeing flights, if we purchase soon, as low as $1,400. So if that's like that 7,500 is based off of flights being 1,930. If we get that for 1,430, that 7,500 changes to 7,000. And that's what we're going to do. I put that number as sort of a placeholder, and we will handle the flights this year, so it's easier for families. But at the same time, that's not a fixed price. It is. I think it's a very safe high-end price, but that's going to be the true price is going to be reflected in whatever we end up with the flights. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions on that, let me know. It can be confusing for me as well. So this is probably not, if you're a first-time AFAR family, this is probably not going to be something that you're going to be looking at. We, in almost every case, would not suggest this. But we do have cases where students will spend a month, sometimes actually longer with us, and do either a back-to-back project, go to Spain and then go to Portugal. It's not a problem for us, but a first-time student, probably, I think we feel more comfortable with them getting their feet wet with 2 weeks. Last year we had a student who had traveled extensively and it worked no problem. It was her first year and there was no problem. You can also, if we do 2 sessions in Portugal, you could potentially do a month. And those are the prices of what that would look like. Essentially, you cut out a second international flight because you're there. You're only needing one back and forth. So that's there if there's anyone watching this that would be in the position that would want to do that. Now, as far as payments, what we're looking to do, we do want to get these flights locked in. So what we're going to do is we want to go ahead and take a third, like 1/3 of the payment immediately. So to get to lock in your spot, people just need to go ahead and make that deposit. So then we typically used to do a deposit. Now we would do flights typically in February and then pay the remainder in May. So it's not terribly different, except we're going to do the flights for you so you don't have to deal with it. So if you look at that, it's essentially your payments cut in 3. Are they strict? The only thing that needs to be sort of strict is we really need to have the commitment at this point. So that's why we have that deposit due now. Aside from that, as long as people are communicating, it's usually not an issue. We just need to have a heads up. And that's not going to be a problem, but just communicate. That's fine. I mean, we're a nonprofit. We're not looking. We're actually really good at non-profiting, but we also can't lose our shirt. So we got to make sure we got to try our best to stay in the black. Now, there's also financial aid. So financial aid is something, the whole reason we started AFAR is so we could help students make this possible. And when I started the company, it was in a public school in Florida, and most of the kids just couldn't afford it. So that's why we started it, and we still offer financial aid. Now, the financial aid, you have to qualify for the financial aid. As a 501c3 nonprofit, I have to document and say, not me personally, the board. I actually, just for the record, I don't handle the financial aid. The AFAR board does. But I can't give financial aid if it's not valid. So, if you're rolling up in the G-Wagon to drop off the financial aid forms, that's going to probably be a little bit challenging. Doesn't mean that we don't want you and, even be happy to help. It's just the government doesn't like that. So we do have it available. We are hopeful, to have a strong amount of financial aid this year. The coolest thing that I will tell you, and it's sort of a nice way to end, is our financial aid is almost entirely fueled by our alumni. And, these kids over the years that have participated, it's still, some of them are now at the age where they're doing charitable giving, and it is a priority for them. So we've been able to, for the last 2 years, really do all of our financial aid from the giving of our alumni. And that's something that, it's one of the things I'm most proud. So what now? Every student that's eligible should have received an email from me that has an invitation, an application, and an invitation to submit. That is the first step. That needs to be done. Once I see that, it gets you on the radar, and then I'll reach out to you and say, hey, listen, got it. And I'll probably send those emails to say, hey, listen, I got it next Wednesday. And that's when we'll start really shaking out those teams. Once the forms are submitted, like I said, applicants will be contacted by me and families. I will not just contact the students, but the families will also receive that. And then we will start admitting students starting next Wednesday, and we will admit students until the spaces have been filled. And there will be a final cut off, but at the same time, next Wednesday, having the conversation now is best, because we can go ahead and start locking in those flights, and everybody's going to save a little bit of money, and we can start planning properly. But students will be admitted until spaces have been filled, but the space isn't going to be confirmed until that first deposit's been made. So it sort of sounds jerky, but at the same time, I've done it for 17 years. And oftentimes, unfortunately, there's, a couple people being sort of slow. It impacts everyone. So I am I want to be considerate of everyone in this. So, communication is the best. If there's any questions, if you have any concerns, or, there are any issues whatsoever, just reach out to me. And I'm more than happy to either have a call with you, answer something over text or email, or I'll meet with you. Well, thanks for listening to me. I hope this helps, and I look forward to hearing from you, seeing some cool applications, and hopefully, some of you guys join the AFAR family and get into some good fun. All right, have a great weekend.